What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? This is the conversation that a lot of people have been waiting for. Okay, a lot of people have been asking me to do this, so we're gonna do it. Let's talk about violent runes, guys. First of all, let's see what they do. Violent runes are a 4-set that on the first turn they proc 22. All right, hold on. It adds an extra. You get an extra turn with violent runes. Okay. The first turn has a 22% chance to proc, alright? The second turn, I believe, is 17%, and then it goes down from there. I think it goes all the way down to 7%, something like that. And I think it's a 30% difference each time, I believe. If somebody wants to correct me, that's fine. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll be honest with everybody, that 22% sometimes feels like it's 80%. Alright, so whatever the case is, it is. All right. Some people are gonna make a comment, but it says 22. Why do you say 80? Well, you know what? You guys gotta play the game a little more and in Guardian and see how it works. I have monsters that proc 3 times at a time on full violent teams, so that's besides the point. All right. So we're gonna have to talk about violent runes in the old meta till we get to the new meta. Okay. So violent runes in the old meta were for mainly healers and revivers, monsters that you want to take extra turns, like Eladriel, Michelle, Bella, and some support monsters. Not all, but some support monsters. Like you can consider Darian a support attacker. Why? Because he has that weakened defense, so that's a little bit of support, or like utility more than support. And he's another monster that people would put violent runes on. He's very popular to put violent runes on. So as the new meta has begun, okay, and the meta changes every few months, and we're in the middle of a meta change now, but as the new meta goes on, people started putting violent runes on attackers, you know. And one of the perfect monsters to talk about violent runes as an attacker, okay, is not only people are gonna think I'm gonna go straight to one monster, but I'm gonna go to him first, okay? For this turn, for this right here, for this skill right here. When it's maxed out, it's reusable in 2 turns. So this actually hits pretty hard. The multiplier on this, I think, is like 400 or 500%. I think it's 400%. So with crit on crit damage. So with crit damage, it hits around 16,000, 17,000. I've seen some of them hit for like 18,000, and he's not even buffed. And he has a no glancing hit ability as well. So let's say he uses this ability, Violent procs, uses his first ability, and then this ability is back up again, once again, and he pretty much killed you after the second time he used Justice. So it's actually pretty ridiculous on how violent runes have become. Okay, so Leica is a perfect example for an attacker with violent runes. Okay, now another attacker with violent runes that's a great example is Perna. Perna is like literally made of violent runes. Perna gives me nightmares sometimes. I've told people many times about some Pernas that I've fought where it's just ridiculous. You know, I'm about to finish off the entire team. You know, there's only Perna and Chloe left. Nobody ever got a turn. All of a sudden, Perna decides to violent proc like 7 or 8 times and kills everybody on my team, and Tyron is just standing there. He has to fight off Chloe and Perna. You know? And Perna violent procced out of a freeze too. It's not like it was just like that. But that was before violent runes got changed. So I haven't really seen something like that happen recently. But Perna over here has this skill right here. But the reason why you want violent runes on Perna is for this. First of all, Perna's gonna heal everybody on the team for 10% of their hit points. But this also has a long cooldown. The revive comes from death with 100% hit points when he revives himself. And maxed out, it has an 8-turn cooldown. So you want Perna to take extra turns so that maybe you can get the extra revive and stuff like that. So another monster that's great on Violent Rune is Velahul with the support. You know, when this is maxed out, it's a 3-turn cooldown. You know, and then he also removes beneficial effects with his first skill. He does a lot. You know, the main monsters though that you put Violent Runes on, that you really want to put Violent Runes on, is monsters with revives. You know, like this has an 8-turn cooldown. I don't know what it is maxed out. It's probably 5 or 6 turns. I've actually had an Eladriel proc so many times that he revived the entire team on me in 1 turn. So it gets crazy with Violent Runes. And then I had to go through the entire thing all over again. It was like I started from scratch. So people also use them on monsters with long cooldowns. Usually the monsters with long cooldowns, in my opinion, you should, like, we're talking about attackers now, not revivers. In my opinion, should be Rage Blade, because that long cooldown could be a hard-hitting skill, and you could probably one-shot something with it, you know? So I'd rather take the one-shot over anything else, you know? So then there's monsters with built-in, a few monsters, not too many, with built-in violent skills, like, I forgot what her name is. Sorry, not Tashar. Yen, okay? She has get an extra turn with a 15% chance when your turn is over. So the meta hasn't allowed for her to shine, but she hits hard. And I really, really, really want to build one. It's just that there's too many fire monsters running around, where she doesn't have enough hit points to take the hits. You know, but I would love to build one. I seriously want to build one. People ask me, should I build her? And I tell them no. And I feel bad because, but the problem is, like, if you're fighting an Arnold or something, he's going to extort her in 1 turn and it's done. And you're done. You know? So the game hasn't allowed for Yen to shine. But I think she's a great monster. I really do think she's a great monster. He's really good too. He has a 6-turn cooldown on his revive. I see him a lot with Despair Runes as well. I don't agree with Despair on him. I really would prefer Violent Runes. Violent Runes, though, are considered the best runes in the game by a lot of people. The way the things have gone, I also agree too. Somebody goes to me, yeah, make a Violent Rune video. Best rune in the game, put all monsters on Violent Runes, that's it, end of story. To some extent, I agree with them, you know, to some extent. Not 100%, but to some extent, I agree with them, alright? So what substats do you look for with Violent Runes? Well, we've got 3 different monsters that we use with Violent Runes. We've got the healers, the attackers, and the utility monsters, alright? We're only going to talk about them. You know, they have hit point and defense monsters and all this, and then in the meantime, it doesn't really make sense. There's stats and skills and all this other stuff. So, let's just talk about healers, attackers, and utility monsters, alright? What are the substats you're looking for on all of them? Now, before I say it, I know everybody's going to say, what's up with this guy? Why does he always talk about speed? Let me tell you guys something. The best stat in the game is speed. Alright, speed. Alright, you guys want to sit there and tell me, oh, you know, I've seen comments on other people's pages where they're like, you know, I sit there and I watch Nick's videos, but he's always talking about speed, and he has a monster with 230 speed, and it drives me crazy because of whatever reason. Guys, speed is the most important substat in the game. Alright, I don't care what anybody says, what anybody tells you, alright, especially with Violent Runes. You don't want a monster on Violent Runes with 100 speed. Why? Because they're never going to go. Never. They're never going to get a chance to go. You're not fighting monsters with 100 speed. There's a lot of people that have Swift Runes on. At that point, Swift Runes is better to have if you don't have any speed substats. Okay? My Veromos, I'll show you right now, he's got Swift Runes on. I didn't put, everybody has Violent Runes in the meta. First of all, I don't have the Violent Runes to put on him with the right amount of speed. I want my Veromos to farm dragons, and it's like, you know, if he's slow, even with Vertihil boosting his attack bar, if he's slow, there's no point in having him. You know, you want him to use this passive over and over and over again. You know, you want him to be able to debuff your entire team. There really is no point in having Veromos with less than 160, 170 speed. To be honest with you, in my opinion, on my standards, if I don't have 190 speed Veromos with Violent Runes, I'm not doing it. 190 is my minimum, you know, in my standards, you know, because I'm a speed freak. I want speed on everything, okay? Even with the attackers, if you have, especially a violent attacker, because you're giving up either 35% attack or 40% crit damage. So you want to be able to make it up somehow. You have to make it up with speed. And then utility monsters, you want them to go eventually. You know, like, you can't not have speed. I don't know how many times I have to stress this, you know? And then people are like, oh, you know, speed is so hard to get and whatever. Guys, shoot for the moon. If you land on a star, that's perfectly fine. Let's put it that way. I learned that the hard way, okay? You gotta be able to shoot for the best. You know, everybody at this point, go for number one in the game, and if you don't get number one and you end up in the top 500, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's not, go for trying to be the best. If you're not the best, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you're only human, you know, or you're only in a video game. You know what I mean? So, like, honestly, with Violent Runes, speed is the #1 stat you have to look for. You know, I'm not gonna say don't keep the rune if it doesn't have a speed substat. I'm not telling you all of your monsters have to be at 180, 190 speed. I have monsters with Violent Runes that don't have that much speed. Okay, my minimum on Veromos though is 190 because I want that skill to go. Now you see, I got Bella at 160 on the dot. That's fine. You know, am I ever gonna put him on my arena defense? No. Now Darian, my Darian is pretty slow. He doesn't have that much speed, but he's got Revenge Runes, guys. So something's going to happen in between all of it, and I'm trying to improve his runes. I really want him to be faster. I stopped using Chisun in the arena altogether because look, the speed is pathetic. You know, 119 speed, that's pathetic. There's no point in having Chisun on my arena defense. Then I've got her. Her speed is pretty low to begin with, so it's hard to build her up to 160 speed. But it's working for me. Plus 47 is not bad. You know, even though she's not that fast, it's still not that bad. So, and the way I use her is a little different. So I usually use her with Chloe and Bella, and if Bella heals, he increases the attack bar, and things tend to happen. You know. When it comes to healers now, depending on the healer, the next substat that you're looking for after speed is hit points. Okay? After that, you're looking for resistance, and after that, whatever you get, you get. On attackers, if you put crit damage in 4, a violent attacker, you have to be able, depending on their offset, okay? Now, even if you have a blade set and their crit rate is too low and you have crit damage in slot 4, you gotta look for crit rate substats, and then attack substats, and then attack or crit damage substats, you know, depending on your crit rate. And then you're looking for whatever else afterwards. And then the utility monsters, all right, you're looking for right after, like, utility monsters, meaning like Delphoid. Okay, she's not just a healer, she has that cooldown skill. You see she has 48% accuracy, which is not good, but it's not bad either, okay? You're looking for accuracy, but like the perfect example is Bella. I have 72% accuracy, but I have a focus set on that. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about speed. The whole reason about speed and everything is the more turns you go, the more chances you have of violent proccing, okay? I'm gonna give you an example. There's a guy that I fought. After reset, I didn't refresh my list this week. I left my list at Guardian. I wanted to fight a few people that I wouldn't have fought before reset. So I fought a guy, I fought him 4 or 5 times. I wasted like 4 or 5 invites on this guy. He had Vanessa Leader, Eladriel, Ariel, and Velahul. Right? All three of the Archangels. This guy's defense was insane. Full Violent Rune defense. And I couldn't figure out how to beat him. He couldn't kill me though. That's the problem with this defense. Now, but the thing is, every single time all of them went, they just drove me nuts because Vanessa has a 33% speed leader ability in the arena. So everybody has plus 33 speed or whatever speed it is that they have. Okay, or whatever speed in their base. I think Eladriel gets a little more because I think he has like 110 or 115 speed. I don't remember off the top of my head. We're not going to go that far into it. But every single time, they were pretty quick, and every single time they went, they violent procced. Some of them in a row, all of them violent procced like 4 times on me. They couldn't kill anything though. And what was crazy about this team is that the fact that they were removing beneficial effects too with their first skills, and then you got the revives, the heals, the constant immunity, the weakened defense. You have 2 revives over there. I couldn't figure out how to, after like the 4th or 5th time, I was like, whoa, I couldn't figure out how to beat this guy. But he couldn't kill me. That was the good thing. You know, I drew like 4 times and I'm like, you know what? Let me try my speed team, okay? So I took my speed team. The thing about this guy's defense was, if I remember correctly, he didn't have any will runes on his defense. So he might even watch my videos. I hope he doesn't, because then he's gonna change something to will. He's gonna change something to will runes, and I won't ever be able to beat him. But I don't hit him before reset anyway. But so I took my speed team, okay, and I just completely outsped him. You know, like I froze everything. Everything got frozen. Everything happened as planned. And I normally wouldn't take my speed team against this team because it's pretty crazy. But I took my speed team and I completely outsped him. Considering the fact that they weren't that fast, they all had to be at above 160 to 160 speed because of Vanessa's speed leader ability, and it worked out perfectly for him because every time they went, they were violent proccing like crazy, you know. So I made it a priority to kill Ariel first, so that he doesn't violent proc and heal everybody to full, you know. And plus, his Eladriel was kind of slow, and his Vanessa was kind of slow, so it was just pretty crazy, you know. So dealing with violent runes, I'm telling you, you want some sort of speed. There is no point whatsoever of even though violent runes give you the extra turn, there's no point in having a turtle with violent runes because the turtle will get demolished. I know the turtle wins in the race with the tortoise and the hare, but if the turtle doesn't get a move and gets killed before anything, there's no point in having violent runes. The best sets to have with violent runes. All right, we've talked about these sets already. Revenge, Nemesis, Will. These are very, very late game sets. I see people that don't put these sets on because they can't find the right substats. You know, I'm not the only one. So, and Focus as well, and Blade. All right, but those aren't late game sets. Those are pretty much basics. Violent Focus, Violent Blade, Violent Will. You know, those are basic sets. It's Revenge and Nemesis where it gets a little crazy. Now, some people are gonna argue and say, but you can always do Violent Nemesis and you don't have to get speed substats. Yeah, on the healers at least. Yeah, you know, that's somewhat true, but what if they're not going for your healers and they freeze them and that's it? You know, what if they go for the healer afterwards and it's like, it's too late already? That's another thing you gotta think about. So, even with Nemesis, I still suggest doing speed. You know, I know I tell everybody, you know, over and over and over again, speed, 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 and it's probably driving people crazy, but you know what? Without speed, you're not getting anywhere. You know, if you look at Williams' defense is fast. It's like they're tanky and fast. To have a tanky, fast defense with Violent Runes to proc over and over and over and over again will drive somebody insane, you know? Then we're gonna talk about monsters that I don't agree to have Violent Runes, you know? There's not too many, but I'm probably only gonna talk about one. But unless you have a second Chloe, I don't agree putting Violent Runes on her. Why? Months ago, before I joined Zypher, before whatever, me and my friends, we were a friend of mine for at least 10 years now. He put Violent Runes on his Chloe, and he stopped using her for a long time. And I'm like, why'd you stop using her? He was like, it's not helping me in the arena. It's actually doing more bad than worse. I'm like, why? He goes to me, sometimes I put the shield up and Chloe's low on hit points, and she'll go, and then she'll go again, and then she'll go again. So she'll violent proc out of everything he goes to me, and she'll heal. I'll be able to heal her, but she'll end up dying before everybody else goes, because she's the only healer, and it's just a mess. So that's what you gotta watch out on. Now, if you have a second Chloe and building her with a violent set isn't bad. If you have the Chloe with 200 and something speed on a violent set, which is very possible, okay, it's not bad. I just don't 100% agree with it, because you don't want her proccing out of the shield and immunity. You want to keep her alive. Other monsters I don't agree to have Violent Runes. Rena. Now, why? There's no point in talking about Rena really, but why don't you want Rena with Violent Runes? Because you don't want her proccing out of the shield, guys. It's the same thing. You know. I'm gonna go down the list because I really didn't talk about monsters that I don't think should have Violent Runes. I really can't see any monster that I wouldn't put Violent Runes on over here. Yeah, you know, like, there's very few monsters I don't want to put Violent Runes on. You know, the Samurais don't seem so bad now with Violent Runes because they could attack, get the sword of the wolf, whatever, I don't even remember what the name of the skill is, and then use that skill. I know I've had a few people wanting me to talk about that skill. I really don't want to. There's a bug on that skill, and it's not the bug that Comtuous said it was. And nobody put a complaint about it in the forum either. I might do it later or something, but a friend of mine was using it, and he has phenomenal runes on his Kaz, and his Kaz got a critical hit on one monster and got a crushing hit on the other monster. The critical hit for 14,000 and the crushing hit for 1,600, which didn't make sense. That's a big bug in that skill. So I really don't want to talk about it at the moment until I figure out that bug. And people are asking me to work on them and whatever. I've already heard people say that the skill sucks. I don't think it sucks. I think it's pretty good because this guy got an AoE hit. He hit one monster for 14,000, whatever it is. You know, that's not a bad hit for an AoE. So, especially if it goes through like Chloe shields and stuff like that, it's really not that bad. Point being is though that if that bug is what I think it is with the crushing hit, and it's doing 12.5% damage. 12.5% of the damage of a critical hit. That's not good. That doesn't make sense. So that's a discussion for later on. But oh, you know what? Another monster. This is personally my opinion. Another monster I don't. And people make him too. People make Violent Tyron. I don't agree with Violent Tyron because I think he's better on Despair. He's more utility. You build him pretty quick. And you know what? His first skill already has something like a built-in Violent Rune. So it's not so bad. And or even like a Violent Lure. Lure has to be fast. And by the way, guys, building a monster with Violent Runes at 220 speed is not impossible, by the way. This is a Despair focus set, and you see he has 204 speed. I wanted to talk about this too. I almost forgot about it. You see this rune right here? It has no speed substat. I decided to go for accuracy instead of speed. But he's got speed in every single rune. Well, this is a speed rune. Except for that rune. And I can put... I have a despair rune here. I'm not going to do it. Plus 12 will get him at 216 speed. I think I have another one. Even better. You see? No. Why am I keeping this one? Whatever. And this one too. And this one has accuracy on it. So I have this plus 12, plus 11 over here, you know? So, like, it's not impossible to get 220 speed with violent runes. I'm capable of doing it with despair runes. You just gotta farm a lot and hope that you get violent runes with speed substats. So, guys, I hope you liked the video. This is a general discussion about violent runes. Honestly, if I was to talk about every single monster in violent runes, the video could go on for days, not even hours, days. So I'm leaving them at generally what to talk about or what to think about when you're dealing with runes, because I also want you guys to learn too. You know, I want to give you a general idea and then figure it out afterwards. You know, it's not just, oh, you know, Nick said this, so we got to do this. You know, no. You know, just I'm giving you a general idea, my opinion. If you like my opinion, you like it. You don't like it, it is what it is. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to everybody later.